What is up, guys? This is your boy Bruce, back again with another video, and today we're doing 5 starter lock tips for your journey. And I really wanted to do a video like this because I know a lot of my subscribers or a lot of people that watch my videos, I feel like the highest percentage are people that are just beginning and starting their lock journey. So you're in that starter lock phase right now, while I feel like more advanced individuals or people who've had their locks for a long period of time, yes, they do watch my videos as well, but I feel like at that point in your journey, most of your routines are already set and you pretty much already know most of the tips and tricks and things like that. So I really wanted to record this video, kind of help you guys out, answer some of those questions that you guys asked me in the comments and things like that. But without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so starter lock tip number 1, don't retwist too often. Now, this is something that's a little controversial, and I feel like that'll vary upon different people's journeys, because as we know, there's so many different types of lock journeys a person can be on. You know, you could have the free form set, you know, you could have a full set, you could have high top locks like myself, micro locks, sister locks. So it'll really vary on your journey and what you're trying to do. But in general, right, tension on your scalp and your hair being pulled isn't good overall, right? It's not good for the health of your hair. So it's like, let's say in the beginning phases when you are on your starter lock journey, I know that the hair unravels pretty quickly starting off because it doesn't really understand what you're doing to it in the processes that you're putting it through. So yes, you will go to your loctician, or let's say you retwist your hair yourself, you will be doing that, I feel like, the most in your entire journey in the beginning. But try not to make it a every week thing, you know, space that out. I want to say when I started off, I was going about every 2 to 3 weeks, and even sometimes I kind of felt like that was a little bit too much. But I only say that because I feel like it's a little bit too much if you know what you're trying to go for in a way. So like, you know, my locks right now, you know, they say you can have like what, skinny, medium, and thick locks. I feel like my locks are pretty medium, but overall I feel like a lot of them are skinny as well, and I want my locks to be, you know, like plump and thick, and you know, like I wanted them to be pretty thick but not overly thick either. So it's like when you retwist more often, you're constantly, you know, working it into that cylindrical form, and I feel like that's kind of training your hair to not do that. While when you're not retwisting, it's like that retwist comes undone, or that lock starts to expand in a way, and that's how you get the more full look. Like, have you noticed with a lot of people that have freeform journeys, most of the time their locks are thick, and that's because they're not applying that constant tension and force onto those locks over their journey. So their hair is just swelling up as it wants to. And when you get into like the budding process and certain locks swell up and things like that, like you're not messing with it or disturbing it at all. Now, if you have an experienced loctician, 9 times out of 10, they know what they're doing. And a lot of the time your loctician will ask you what size locks you're going for when they start your journey. So that way you guys can kind of work together and, you know, follow that vision and get your locks to that point that you see, or that you might not see. But your locticians, they deal with a lot of clients, so they kind of already have an idea that if I start with this parting pattern and this thickness, that eventually they'll turn out to be like this in the end. But yeah, in general, just try not to retwist too often, especially if you want thicker, fuller locks in the end. All right, tip number 2 will be to wrap your hair up at night. So I don't care if you're 1,000 days in your journey or you just started your journey today, wrap your hair up at night. I can't emphasize it enough. The only time I say you don't really have to do that as much anymore is if, let's say, you have silk sheets, silk pillowcase, and even still, like your blanket might be cotton or wool, so you could still get stuff in your hair essentially. Like you're getting lint in your hair, you're getting cotton in your hair, You're getting a lot of stuff that you don't even really see on the surface in your hair. And not even that, one thing that I learned in the journey is that, think about it like this. When you're in the real world, let's say you're at work, or you're going out shopping, or you're going out to eat, you're at the movies, you're at the gym, when you're walking around and your locks are out, there's all sorts of microscopic bacteria and particles flying around. People are talking to you, things that you don't see. They might, a little bit of spit might be flying out. Like, it sounds nasty, yes, but you got to think about all of that, right? We don't wash our hair every single day, so it's like at night, if you don't wrap your hair up and you literally just lay straight on your pillow with that, all the stuff that your locks have, like, your locks are like a magnet in a way. So it's like, imagine all the stuff that you went through throughout the day being held in your hair, and then you just lay directly on your pillow, and at night, you know, you tossing and turning. So you're basically massaging all of the particles into your face and into all your sensitive regions of your face and body. It's just, I don't know, it's very unsanitary. And it's just like, why go through that when you can literally just, look, this is the bonnet I've been using lately. I know it's giant. I ain't mean to get it this big, but it's actually been pretty clutch. Jumbo bonnet. Just throw that joint on your hair, now you're good, you know. And of course you would put all your locks in it, but yeah, man, it's just like, cover your hair up, you know. I know early on in my journey, I didn't use bonnets because in the starter lock process is like, wearing a bonnet, it depends on what you're going for, right? But it was kind of opposite of what I was envisioning, because when I woke up, took that bonnet off, my locks would be going in every direction, north, south, east, west. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm going for when they're this short, you know. But some people like that look, you know. Some people want them to go everywhere, so that would be cool. But early on, if you want your locks to lay flat, if you're struggling with that a lot, I definitely recommend a do-rag or some type of satin line cap. That way, basically, you know, gravity is kind of doing its thing, and force is doing its thing to keep your locks down and flat. And that way, when you take it off, your locks aren't like this everywhere. They're just all against your head, how you wanted them to be, I should say, if you want that. So definitely wrap your hair up at night. It protects your body, protects your skin, it protects your locks themselves, because you also have to think, when you're laying on those cotton pillowcases and things like that, like I said, you're tossing and turning throughout the night. So the friction between the surface of that and your locks, that's creating a bunch of, like, it's pulling your hair out in a way, basically. I can't really sugarcoat it. It's pulling out your hair. And a lot of people are like, yeah, it does, but like, it's not that deep. Like, it doesn't do it a lot. And it's like, yeah, it's not like you're gonna wake up and your entire lock is gonna be on your pillow or nothing like that. But think about, if you're planning to have these locks for years, let's say 50 strands of hair come out your, and I don't know the exact amount, so I don't want no professional watching like, that's actually very incorrect. But like, let's say you're losing hair every night because you never wrapped it up, and it's just getting constantly torn and pulled out, and you doing this across your whole journey. I feel like that'll add up to a significant chunk of your hair that you could have retained or kept in that process of budding and locking that's missing. So real easy, just invest in a silk or satin line cap, bonnet, do-rag, and you'll be good. All right, so tip number 3. Tip number 3 will be to keep your hands out of your hair. So I know early on it's real easy to just, you know, go to town, massage your locks, play around with them. You know, you pulling your little coils, you're looking at them, examining them in the mirror. You like, dang, why that coil look too straight? Why this coil still look super, super tight? Like, at that time of your journey, you're still excited and you're still new to it all. So you're you want to put your hands in it. You want to like see how things feel, and you want to inspect things closely, but just remember that you gotta let your hair do its thing. It's almost like you just gotta trust in the process. And I know that's the typical thing a lot of lockers say, or a lot of people that give out advice for lock journeys say, but it's true. You really just gotta trust in the process. and let your hair do its thing, because once you're putting your hands in your hair, and that's not even it, people do a lot more than just putting their hands in their hair. Like, you know, people scratch early on in the journey. A lot of people struggle with finding that right moisturization routine, and it depends on where you live. Let's say you live in like a harsher climate or a drier climate, like the itching might be real in the beginning, or the feeling of, or the sensation that you need to itch your hair might be a lot more real in the beginning. So it's just like, think about the damage that you're causing to your scalp when you are itching it, when you are scratching it, when you're patting it. That's what I used to do. I didn't scratch my hair, I patted it. And I used to pat it so much to the point where it was like, my head used to start hurting and like throbbing. So after that, I just cut it out. Like, I really had to get to the bottom of it, understand what I was doing wrong, what I needed to do more of, because overall, you know, that's hurting your process, that's hurting your journey. You don't want to be scratching your follicles out, and then 2 years later you start to notice bald spots developing, and you're like, where did these come from? Well, they came from your bad habits early on in your journey that you kind of just swept under the rug and you thought would never surface again, but here they are now in the worst time, you know? So just keep your hands out your head. Of course, you know, when you're moisturizing your hair, or you're washing your hair, things like that where you need to have your hands involved, of course, but just don't senselessly just be going to town on your scalp and your hair for no reason, you know. Tip number 4. So tip number 4 would be, don't be afraid to wash your hair. And this is a really huge one, because I know even myself, early on in that Starter Loc journey, you know, you're terrified to wash that hair, because I literally just paid let's say $60 to my loctician to, you know, twist my hair up, and a few weeks later I'm at home, I gotta wash my hair now, and I don't want to undo all of the stuff that she just did, and undo basically the money I just gave to this person. But you can't look at it like that. Think about it like this. Your locks being clean is a very integral part of the process. Your hair buds up and locks up and does its thing a lot easier when it's clean. Like, imagine if you zoom into your locks when they're dirty, right? And there's a lot of filth, there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of objects and things in there in the way. When your hair is trying to learn how to compress and join together, all of that stuff is in the way, and it's kind of making it more difficult to do that. So it's like, if you wash your hair and keep your hair clean and keep it clear of all of those debris, then it could come together and form a lot easier. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different views and beliefs on this. You know, a lot of people in the comments will probably be like, dirty hair is the best hair to lock up. Like, don't listen to this guy. And it's like, yeah, we all can have our beliefs, but it's like scientifically proven that not even just hair, but when stuff is clean, that's when it is basically performing at its 100%. So it's just like, wash your hair, make sure it's clean. If you're just starting off and you're really worried about it unraveling, I don't have any videos up about it yet, but there's plenty of videos on YouTube here where people will show you ways to try to keep all of your coils and keep all of your twists intact. Like, you could wear certain caps while you're in the shower, and then you're basically massaging the soap into your hair and scalp and coils, but it's not really causing too much friction to make them undo, because the cap is keeping them together. So there's a lot of different methods you could look up, or like I said, if you just trust in the process, wash your hair as you normally would, and then, you know, by the time you get your next retwist, your loctician will see what happened, and she'll put everything back together for you and keep the process going how it should. So just don't be afraid. Time will pay off. Make sure you're taking care of your hair as you would have before when you're a loose natural, and things will work out. All right, and then for tip number 5, one of the most important tips of them all, do not compare your journey to another individual's journey. This is something that I struggle with a lot, because throughout my entire lock journey, I'm watching tons of YouTubers. I'm watching like TP Locks, I'm watching like The Real Ronnie, I'm watching all these people, and I'm just like, man, like I want my locks to look exactly like theirs, like exactly like theirs. Like I'm gonna try to follow all the same steps. I'm gonna try to do everything they did to completely replicate that perfect look and try to make my journey theirs. But you're your own individual at the end of the day. It's like, you gotta understand that we're all unique, right? Almost like how every human in the world is different. Like you can even have a set of twins that look the exact same, you know, are in the same family, blah, 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 have a lot of the same interests and dislikes, but at the core of it all, they're still a different person. And that's the lesson of it all. Your journey will not be 100% like somebody else's. Even if you guys have the same length, have the same texture, they won't be exactly the same. There's a lot of variables and things that factor into why your hair behaves the way it does, and a lot of it is genetics, honestly. It really is. And even still, like you might have a parent with locks and you have locks too, and your lock journey is different than theirs. So it's a lot deeper than that as well. But don't compare your journey to anybody else's. Don't even compare your journey to mine. Like everybody's journey will be different. Especially too, since everybody has different types of locks. Like I said, I have high top locks. So if you're starting a full set of locks, you know, at this mark in your journey, I'm like 1 year, 7 months in. When you're 1 year and 7 months in, your hair might be like right here. And you like, dang, I was watching his video at that same time and my hair was way longer than his. Why is that? We started with different methods and different process, so our journeys aren't the same. And I think that's the beauty of it all, and why locks are so magical, because it's like all of them are different. All of them have a story to tell. You know, years down the line, your locks will show everything that you did to them, your loctician did to them, all the stuff y'all have been through together. You know, the months you got lazy, the months that you actually took care, it all tells a story. And it's like, you kind of have to envision and kind of paint that story for it on your own. You know, you got to take care of it properly, nourish it, make sure you're taking care of your locks, make sure you stand on top of stuff, you protecting them, and they'll turn out how they're supposed to. You just got to embrace that your journey is different than everybody else's. And I think that's the magic of it all too. Like, even to this day, I still stay on YouTube watching all these people's lock journeys, because it's interesting, it's fascinating. I'm on Reddit a lot too, just scrolling, like looking through people's different lock journeys and things that they tried and things that they experimented with that made their results a little different. Like, it's just awesome to see it all. So really, I know this is a real cliche tip, or a typical tip, but it's just like, don't compare your journey to anybody else's. Love yourself, love your journey. I think that's the whole lesson behind the lock journey. Like, you have to learn to be comfortable with the natural version of yourself and let your body just do its thing and embrace it, you know. But those are my 5 starter lock tips. Hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. I was thinking about it, like, I get a lot of views and support and love on just my lock updates, but those are the only types of videos I've made up until this point. And it's like, all the lock YouTubers I watch, they do the updates. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them I watch do the updates, and they do the informational or educational videos as well. So I know that I always wanted to be that force too, but I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do it in the right timing. So I felt like now was about the right time, where I was comfortable enough with the monthly uploads. I have a nice amount of experience now. I'm not just talking out of nowhere and making stuff up. You know, I could really talk about experiences I've had and things like that, to where I could make a video like this. So let me know how you guys are rocking with it. Let me know down below what other types of videos you guys would like to see. Like I said, I get comments. I'm not even a big YouTuber at all, but I get comments on my lock videos like every day at this point, asking me a bunch of different things, like, you know, what shampoos are you using, what, you know, how did you start your locks, you know, How do you feel about the color in your hair? Did it damage the texture? Did it damage your hair? A lot of different questions, and it's like I try to respond to everybody unless it's just like some trolling, and even I respond to the trolls sometimes too. But you know, it'd just be a lot cooler if I could make an entire video answering somebody's question. So just drop down your video suggestions below, and I will try to get back with a video for you guys, and we can just keep that going throughout the weeks, you know. And then by the end of it all, you could come on my channel and learn a lot about locks. And if you were unsure before, you know, you watching one of my videos might make you commit and start your lock journey tomorrow, and then years down the line you sending me selfies showing me your beautiful hair, and you like, man, thank you so much, like you gave me that push to do it, you know. And I think that's the cool thing about like lock YouTubers and those individuals sharing their advice and their journeys, because they motivated somebody like me who was a loose natural all his life to start a journey like this. But hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you aren't already. Turn that notification bell on, and I'll catch y'all next time. I'm out.